All right. So everybody that's listening, if
Sure.
you could share, like, and subscribe on the podcasting sites, radio people, thanks so much for listening. We have a very special guest. She's been on here before, and some of her players that are still playing on the team this year have been on before, telling their stories in general and their basketball journeys. This is Jenna Cosgrove, the head coach of the Rick women's basketball team, and very exciting news for this team because they went to the Final Four last year in Division III women's college basketball. Got a lot of returning players, and the polls have them with the preseason polls ranked fifth in one poll, another poll seventh. And this is very good from a program that has been winning since Jenna got there. Before that was another story. We won't dabble into that. But Coach Cosgrove, always great to talk to you and have you on the program.
Yes, thanks, Rob. Thanks for having me. We're very excited, and we open up tomorrow. So big
Right.
couple days.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. So we're going to be very quick with this interview because we know you got places to be and people to see. For people that are following along with the Rick women's basketball team, maybe you haven't heard of them and you just want to know a little bit more after you've heard this interview. At Coach J Cos on Twitter and go underscore anchor. It's ANCHOR WBB on Twitter also. And then just the regular athletic website is goanchormen.com. As we go into the season, last time we spoke was before the summer, maybe a little bit into summer, I guess I would say too. So let's talk about that. A lot of the girls that I interviewed that are on your team still were playing summer league. A lot maybe were doing other things. Can you just give the audience a little bit of a recap of what went on with your players during the summer?
Yeah, it's been very exciting. It's the most hungry group I've ever had the privilege of coaching. Coming off a great season last year, the girls are more motivated and confident than ever. The team played in a summer league. They didn't lose a single game. It's never happened before. So there's just like a hate to lose. There's a different energy to them. They put in a ton of work individually and collectively, but obviously individually more so in the summer. And we just have an edge to us right now that we're ready to compete.
And I think that's very important. And I know most of your players are returning players because of the COVID. Yeah, you've got a couple of those girls coming back, and also obviously the women that were, younger players, but they were still extremely productive with the team last year going to the Final Four. Talk about a little bit about the returning players and who you expect to really step up this year as this team really progresses.
We've got a great group of returners. And I have to say we're deeper in the sense of our back court and our front court. We return four of our five starters.
Mhm.
So we return our point guard who's been leading the way. She's the captain this year, Madison Medbury, playing her best basketball right now and just doing a great job being our floor leader. We returned Janiah Jones. Both her and Madison were all conference defensive team. She is as special as they come. And we return Izzy Booth, first team all conference. Um, and we return Angelina Nardilillo, second team all conference and part of that NCAA tournament squad that was
Mhm.
selected. And then we dip into the others that we have, and they could be starters as well. And that's where our depth comes in. We got Nalisha Munier returning, who came in off the bench for us last year as a senior, turning for her fifth year. She was huge for us in the NCAA tournament. We have Jada Bing, another veteran on the basketball court, transferred to us last year. She was huge for us in the tournament. And then we've got two really special fifth year transfers. One that returns home to us after graduating in 2021. She played the COVID year. She was our senior. She was player of the year. Helped win us our first championship, but graduated. Excellent student, and came back. She's doing her COVID year. She's sacrificing a lot personally, even though she won't tell you that. But she's deferring law school. She's going to go to law school
Wow.
next year, a top 25 law school. She's a brilliant young lady. She returns to us. She was an unbelievable player in our league and in our program. a guard. And then we bring in Olivia Middleton, who is a guard from Barrington, Rhode Island, that just was a leading scorer for St. Lawrence University. Just finished her undergraduate program there. So I'm mentioning a lot of players because they've got to prove, who's gonna. We don't have one superstar. We really are blessed in the sense of our depth and our, just the diversity in the different positions we have. We have a lot of pieces. I've never coached a fifth year kid, maybe once, Patea Larry, but we've got five. There's something different about a fifth year kid, the experience, the veteran level, and four of the five have played for me. So they know exactly what we do and how we play. And you got Claire Green is now a sophomore, and you got kids that are now got a year under their belt after a great season last year. So we're deep. We're experienced, and there's a different level. I think the biggest difference, Rob, from between last year and this year, we're going into tomorrow with a different level of confidence. There's no ego, I would hope, because we've never had that. But a confidence, like we can do this. We've done this. We can do this.
How have you seen the team grow? I know it's very early, but obviously a lot of these girls have been together for quite some time now on your program. And obviously some of them have played together on teams over the summer. Have you really seen this growth? You just spoke about, the fifth year play. And I know that's extremely important. The veteran, obviously they're older. They can kind of handle themselves. These girls aren't out there partying and having fun. They are having fun, but they're not going insane. Like some other people do. And so they can kind of control that atmosphere with that fifth year group for the freshman or the sophomore coming in that maybe don't have that. But talk about how this group is really coming together because they know they're ranked already fifth in the country. This is not a game. This is not some team just that maybe will be 500 at the end of the year. This is the real deal, Shaquille O'Neal. This is a team that could win the national championship. It's not a joke.
Right. I like that. There's a different standard, and those kids, who are the staple of our program, some of these veterans, juniors, seniors, fifth years, there's a standard. We come to practice every day and they're competing harder than ever. It's a player-led team. That's a big difference between, in the past years when I was building this program, it was coach-led, and it's now player-led. And that's what I always told them. We'll be really good. We'll be player-led. Course, they need, we're there. We're not, they can't coach themselves, but they know what's expected and they know that they have to compete every day. And our practices are meant to be so challenging and competitive that the games seem easier. And we've had two great scrimmages, but they're just scrimmages. But we're outplaying people because no one will play harder than us. I won't say that we're going to be the most talented, but we will play hard. Every possession, they play with passion and they play with an edge.
So obviously, you're still there. You've been at Rick, I believe, 6 years. You can correct me if I'm wrong. This is the seventh, right?
Yes, you're right.
Okay. And then Derek is back. Claudia is back with you. And then obviously Megan. You talk about how important it was to get Megan, who used to play at Rick, obviously coached at Johnston. Now, I believe another school in Rhode Island, too, for the high school level. And, a young woman coming in and being able to adapt to these younger players also and knowing the scene at Rick in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Megan's been terrific. At this stage, when we were coming off our season last year, I had in mind of who I wanted to go after and what our team needed. And I think bringing in a young woman that our girls can look up to, is extremely mature, carries herself extremely well, was an athlete at Rhode Island College, and is a great representation of what we want in our program. I've always had a close connection with Megan. I got to know her as an alumni when I took over here. She got, it's kind of like being a people person. Like you get a great vibe. I got a great vibe with Megan. I know what our kids are looking for. I think, one thing I wanted to bring in was I think our kids, you need to have someone who's very emotionally intelligent and understands the young ladies and what they're going through. Be able to really connect with them. I think our staff, between myself, Derek, Megan, and Claudia, we really provide each different perspectives and different experiences. But I couldn't be more excited. She's been excellent. And I think you're only as good as who you surround yourself by. I think every year I'm looking to elevate our coaching staff and the way we coach, the way I coach, in order to get better and better. And couldn't do it without any of them.
Again, Jenna Cosgrove, head coach of Rick women's basketball team. They're getting ready to start the season tomorrow. If you're in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut area, the game is on Friday at 6 p.m. And obviously, this team, as we've been talking about throughout the interview, is ranked 5th in the country in Division III. If you want to follow Jenna or the Rick women's basketball team in general, it's at Coach J Cos on Twitter and Instagram. And then again, for the women's team in general, it's at go_anchor WBB, again on Twitter and Instagram. A lot of fun, good stories, a lot of good pictures and videos in general. And you can also go to the school website, goanchormen.com. We've talked a lot about the returners, and obviously Megan, as your new coach, are back, coming back into the program from being a player to a coach now. Let's talk about the new players.
Yeah, I mentioned the 2 newcomers that are added to our roster that are 5th-year players that will be very instrumental and impactful right away. Sophia Guerrier and Olivia Middleton. We also had Maggie Schwab. Maggie Schwab was an All-American at CCRI, and she provides a lot of depth for us at that post position, doing a great job, an easy kid to coach, and she did have a really good career at CCRI. So excited about Maggie. She's really helping to provide, like I said, that depth and that strength at that forward position. And we were slim at that last year with just Angelina and Alicia. And then we also had a great freshman group. We have Maggie McKitchen, who won a state championship at Bayview Academy, Rhode Island State Championship. She's a really good guard that's coming, progressing each day. I think for a freshman, it's challenging being a freshman in our system right now because of the veterans that we have. But again, they're doing a terrific job. All 3 of them. We have Maggie McKitchen, who's from Seekonk. We have Bailey Burke, who is from New Bedford, Massachusetts, who played at the Hyde School, so got some experience at the prep level. And we have Vanessa Venditti, who played in a challenging Connecticut league for Wethersfield, Connecticut. And all these kids, I'm great. What's the best part about them is they work really hard, and they're learning our system. They're getting better each day, but they're even better kids.
And I want to talk about the upcoming game. Obviously, we just teased it. Again, it's Friday at 6 p.m. If you're in the Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts area, definitely come on out. It's not expensive. I know it's tough times for everybody. You can get in there with a very, very cheap ticket and obviously watch extremely good talent on both ends of the court. Let's talk about Tufts. Well, what do you know about them? That's the first game of the year to open up with.
Tufts is a great program, notoriously a great program, but a really great team. They lost in the Elite Eight last year to the same team that we lost to in the Final Four. So they were 1 game shy. They lost to Christopher Newport. They return a first-team All-American, and they play disciplined, great basketball. It's going to be a great matchup, and I say that just they've got great guards. They've got great forwards. They play discipline. They play great defense, very similar to us in a way. They return almost everybody as well. So it's who's going to be ready, who's right from the jump. But it will be a great game to see.
Yeah, and hopefully it's a good environment. That's why we hope, again, people come out who are listening in this area, do support the team. If you're not in the area, you can go to goanchormen.com and definitely watch the game online. Again, it's going to be a really good game. And we've seen women's basketball really jump high, especially in the past year and a half with the great Final Four in Division I last year. And obviously, I think a lot of people in Rhode Island should be psyched up for a team, at least the only team I believe in Rhode Island that's even close to going to another Final Four. But that's another argument for another day. That's women's and men's I'm talking about.
Thanks, Travis.
Well, we'll move forward, and we're going to get into the audience questions now. But the last question I have is, as far as the season goes, it seems like you have a pretty tough schedule, and then obviously you're going down to Fort Lauderdale for the Christmas break and playing in a tough tournament down there. There's a lot to get to there, but if you can give the audience a little bit of a recap, of what you feel like is going to go on with the schedule during the season, and obviously that December Christmas trip, which is coming up very, very fast.
We're really excited. Our non-conference, like November, December schedule is loaded. We have 5 teams that are on that non-conference schedule that are in the top 25 preseason top 25, 2 of which will play in Florida in the Cruising Classic right before the holidays. So we're ready for the challenge. I think we're going to be challenged early with every game. There's no easy game on our schedule. We have a bunch of regionally ranked teams from last year, NCAA tournament teams, and top 25 teams, and we couldn't be more excited. But it will definitely be challenging. So our real test will come early.
So just a quick follow-up, and then we'll move to the audience question, as I stated. With that said, what game on the schedule do you have that little star next to that you're really hyped up for? As you said, there's a lot of really big games with these teams that are in that preseason top 25. But what are you looking at, Coach?
Well, I could start with Tufts tomorrow. I think it's going to be a momentum that headed into the season because it's a terrific team. It's a extremely tough team. So I'm not just saying that because it's the home opener. I just think that will be the number one test, Tufts. And then the 2 others that are starred in my mind are Babson, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, just returning there after, obviously playing there in the Elite Eight. Another great team. And then heading right into 2 days later, going to play Trinity back where we played the Final Four game, but playing Trinity, who's a terrific team and is going to be a top contender in the country as well.
Moving into that audience question, a lot of returning players coming back, whether it's a person coming in that you've seen throughout practice that you believe is going to step up a lot. Who is your woman that's on your team right now? What woman do you see stepping up this season to really make even a bigger impact, whether it was last year, again, one of the freshmen or incoming players that weren't there last year, but maybe you see something in one of these women that you say, hey, this girl is going to be the real deal for us this year?
I'd have to say, it's tough to say, Rob. It's tough to say, but I can tell you that, you expect a lot from certain kids, but I think the ones that are new, I would say Olivia Middleton's going to be a real spark for us. I would also say that you're going to see a lot from Jada Bing and Alicia Munier. I think that depth, and even Claire Green, that depth off the bench is going to, you put them in, and right now we're not going down. We're just elevating in a sense. So something that is really a blessing to our program. But I'd have to say that I think Madison Medbury has really proven to lead the way. She had a terrific season last year, and there's a difference in her. She's got a fight to her that, and a motor that you can't coach, but there's the basketball knowledge and the skill has elevated so much that, the opportunities are endless for her too.
Again, I hope people go out to the game. It's on Friday. Again, if you're in the area, definitely check it out, 6 p.m. If you're watching this, whatever part of the country, or listening to this in whatever part of the country, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, definitely check out this great team that's really going to progress far this year. I believe in Coach Cosgrove and meeting some of these girls. I believe in them, that they're ready to put the pedal to the metal and really kick some ass this year. Again, Jenna Cosgrove, head coach of Rick women's basketball team. Again, they're 5th in the country as far as that goes. And again, follow them on Instagram and Twitter at Coach J Cos, and then at go_anchor WBB, and then you can watch the game or follow them also on the school website, goanchormen.com. Coach, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and I really look forward to going to the game on Friday and checking out you guys in person for the first time, and hopefully you'll put on quite a show.
Let's go. Very excited. Hope so too.